While the country is in an uproar after the unaliving of Renee Nicole Good in Minnesota, we all saw the shooting that unalived her. There was the group was antagonizing ICE agents while they were out there doing their job. Now, whether you disagree or agree, ICE was hired by this current presidential regime to go expel illegal migrants from the country, get them out of the country, right? We know that. Um, so now you have protesters that's against that, that's on the more liberal side, and they're arguing. And in that argument caused chaos, and in that chaos, Renee Nicole Good lost her life. And we all saw the video. I don't agree with the shooting. I thought that he could have avoided that, but it happened nonetheless. So it doesn't matter whether I agree or disagree. But while that was happening, behind the scenes, there was a black man, Kenneth Porter. He was also unalived in Los Angeles by off-duty ICE agent. They said he was shooting an AR-15 into the air, and at some point, there was a confrontation between him and this off-duty ICE agent, and Mr. Porter, 43, ended up losing his life. Check it out.
The San Fernando Valley, where an off-duty Department of Homeland Security agent shoots and kills a man who was firing a rifle into the air last night. Fox 11's Nick Garcia, he's live there in Northridge with what neighbors are saying about the shooting. Nick?
Hey, Marla, well, you can imagine just how frightening it was for those families as they were gathering to celebrate the new year to then suddenly hear shots from an AR-15 rifle. Witnesses say they heard at least 10 shots. Take a look.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound by the PR.
The Los Angeles Police Department confirms a man was firing shots from a rifle into the air at an apartment complex off Roscoe Boulevard in Northridge New Year's Eve.
It was like a lot of shots. It was more than 10 shots. It was orange shot. And we got scared, but I thought it was something, like fireworks.
LAPD says a neighbor who happened to be an off-duty Homeland Security agent confronted the suspect, then shot him.
He is a Homeland Security agent, currently waiting his work attire.
The man died at the scene, and no one was arrested. While this agent was off-duty, there have been several recent incidents involving use of force by DHS. Back in Northridge, neighbors brought in the new year on edge.
It's scary. Well, I was telling my kids I just don't want to go home because I'm a little bit nervous, but everybody's scared on my own because we didn't know that this was going to happen here.
And that woman really captured the way neighbors here are feeling. We spoke with a few off camera who felt the same way as she did. Police have not shared yet the name of the man or any other information about him. It's also not clear yet if he lived here or if perhaps he was visiting someone here. Marla.
Now, this is a sad situation, with Mr. Porter. In different cities across America and towns, people like to fire their firearms and pow-pows in the air. During New Year's Day at 12 o'clock when the ball drops, and it's something that happens a lot. They said that this ICE agent was inside of his home when Mr. Porter was shooting his AR-15 in the air. He came outside, and they just said he just came outside and shot Mr. Porter. The police is trying to say that there was an exchange in gunfire, but there's no shells, absolutely no shells from the AR-15 on the ground when Mr. Porter died at the scene, right? So there's already some discrepancies going on. Now, I never went outside on New Year's like that and shot guns because to me, it was just drawing too much attention. It was wild. Now, the homies did it. On New Year's when I was young, it would sound like the OK Corral, but everywhere, whether you was in the white community, the Asian side, the Italian side, every group did it. At some point, the police would start going out to bother you. At one point, the police would never come out and bother you because it was just too much gunfire going on, and it was unfortunate tradition. But they started to say that when you shoot the bullets up in the air, they have to come back down, and those bullets may come back down and unalive somebody. So those were the conversations, back in the day, because, man, it was rough, man. I'm talking about all kinds of automatic weapons was going off at that time. But in this case, Mr. Porter was shooting his gun in the air, and the officer was inside the house. Now, when he came out, There's no conversation about him exchanging gunfire with somebody else or shooting at somebody else. That's not even in the conversation. No, right? No, there was. I don't know. It gets it's complicated, but this is the community has come together and they want answers, and this is what they're saying.
Strong emotions in Northridge at a vigil for 43-year-old Keith Porter. Authorities say he had been shooting gunshots in celebration outside of his apartment on New Year's Eve when an off-duty ICE agent responded and killed him. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live tonight where this all took place. Matthew, what do you know?
Oh, Laura, there were more than 100 very emotional people here tonight. You can take a look at the memorial that they left behind, all the candles and the signs and flowers, some now calling for an investigation.
Say his name! Say his name!
Grief and anger filling in Northridge Street at a vigil for 43-year-old Keith Porter.
He was a great black man. He was a girl dad.
Described as a father with 2 kids, Porter is accused of firing AR-15 bullets in the air outside this apartment last week to celebrate the new year before he was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent.
His only mistake was thinking that he was free enough to do it here. And to the people that think it was a stupid act, it's the same stupid act that many of us have done time and time again. New Year's Eve celebratory.
This is not someone who was out to harm anyone.
But according to an LAPD report, the off-duty agent heard gunshots, confronted Porter, identified himself as law enforcement, and claims Porter shot towards him, prompting the agent to fire back, killing Porter.
Police lie, and it's disgusting the way in which they assassinate black life.
Claiming that he had an AR-15 and was shooting bullets up in the air.
It's not the smartest thing to do if that is the case, but regardless, is that punishable by death? I don't think so. I think, we have due process in this country.
The Department of Homeland Security tells Fox 11 the off-duty officer bravely responded to an active shooter situation at his apartment complex. In order to protect his life and that of others, he was forced to defensively use his weapon.
It is our duty to fight for freedom!
While a crowd of people Sunday call for an independent investigation.
He was off duty. Protocol states he was supposed to stay in that house and call 911 if he thought that Keith was a danger to anyone else. But unlike him, Keith wasn't.
According to Black Lives Matter, they have a meeting tomorrow with the LA County District Attorney. This meeting sounds like it's pre-planned, but they do want to bring up this case. We're live in Northridge tonight. Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
I'm going to say this. That police officer, his job was, because he was off duty, was to look out the window, keep your eye on the suspect, and then call the police and let the police come deal with him. Now, this man at that time was no threat to anybody. So he wasn't supposed to come and approach the man like that and end up costing somebody their life. I want to say this. Let me say this too. A lot of my FBA family that say that they support ICE in this situation. I want you guys to be careful, and I want y'all to listen to me well. Those out there that respect me and respect my content that I'm putting out, listen to what I'm telling you right now. You've seen the incident that happened with that W woman over there in Minnesota, Renee Nicole Good, and you see the response that the president and the police put out about them defending themselves and different things, right? But now the president has been set that whenever they harm you or hurt you, because if they do that to their own W folks, it's going to be 10 times worse for you. They're going to always make an excuse for what they do, whether breaking the law or if they're abiding by the law. So we can't just get to this thing where they done lured you in to be against the immigrants, and whatever they do as far as getting the immigrants out, right, that now becomes the precedent for how they deal with the American people, right? This is something that could have been a citation. This is New Year's is in America. It's something that Americans do. He could have looked out the window. He could have hollered out the window. He could have said anything. Hey, hey, right? Anything. But he chose to take the route that he took. And now they're saying that he was defending lives. And so whenever they unalive you now, these are the approach and steps that they're going to take. And they're going to take it because now they have a large portion of you defending the police. Right or wrong, weak or strong, under the guise of them getting immigrants out of the country. We can't be socially engineered and fall asleep I've been teaching online for years, and I've been bringing awareness to this stuff for years. You guys see me now doing a lot of this celebrity junk. You forgot who I am and the type of content that I put out. I ain't with none of it, right? So they use that W woman as the template for how they going to handle things. So if they can do that to that W woman, whether she was right or wrong, it didn't warrant a death sentence. Now, a lot of y'all will say, yes, it did. Yes, it did. Okay, fair enough. Yes, it did. So now, if you agree with that, watch what else they do, because it's coming. But let's look at what the news, let's look at this other clip of what the news was saying.
Developing tonight, we're hearing from the family of a man who authorities say was firing gunshots in celebration of the new year when he was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent. Fox 11's Rachel Aragon joining us live from Universal City, where the family's attorney is calling for an investigation. Rachel?
Yeah, thorough investigation, according to the attorney and the family. Of course, that means to them, police interview everyone in the area that night on New Year's Eve to see if, in fact, Keith Porter shot towards that off-duty officer. But according to the family attorney I talked to earlier today, he says as of now, he sees no evidence that Porter himself was a threat that night.
His heart. Oh my God, he just loves so deeply.
Just days into the new year, the mother of 43-year-old Keith Porter is still filled with grief and disbelief. According to law enforcement, her son Keith fired celebratory gunshots into the air with an AR-15 style rifle outside his apartment complex on New Year's Eve.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound.
An LAPD report states the off-duty federal officer confronted Porter, identified himself as law enforcement, and claims Porter fired toward him, prompted the officer to return fire.
What should have been a simple arrest and possible a citation has turned into a death sentence.
The family's attorney says this all could have been avoided.
But instead of staying in his apartment for a trained law enforcement officer from LAPD to respond, he made the premeditated and calculated decision to grab a firearm.
Fox 11 reached out to the Department of Homeland Security. In a statement, the department said the off-duty ICE officer bravely responded to an active shooter situation at his apartment complex. In order to protect his life and that of others, he was forced to defensively use his weapon. DHS goes on to say their officer immediately called police.
According to his version, Keith shot 3 shots towards him. We have questions on if there was any shell casing recovered from Keith's weapon that would indicate he in fact fired the weapon 3 times.
Keith's family and their attorneys say they have yet to find a witness to corroborate that the father of 2 fired towards the off-duty officer. Now, DHS tells me they're referring any further questions to LAPD, which is currently investigating. We reached out to LAPD earlier today to see if they have yet to identify that off-duty ICE agent. They responded saying, as of right now, they have nothing further to share on this case.
Now, it gets complicated because it's going to be investigated by the LAPD. And they're saying that they don't have the jurisdiction to question this federal officer whose name remains a secret. They're not going to come out, his identity, his name, all these different things. So I'm telling you guys, the precedent that's being set. They were already being able to unalive black people with full autonomy and get away with it. But now that they done created this political theater, this political fight between the right and the left, and they have a lot of black people now abandoning the Democratic side and supporting these radical right-wing people in the narrative that they're pushing. They got you guys supporting ICE and all the things that they do, but there's American citizens that are being harmed as well. Now, when you get, because this is complicated, and I want you guys to understand something as foundational Black Americans. Even when we mind our business and we get out the way, when you set the precedent for them to move in a manner in which they're moving, right? This is just what they're going to do. So now, this black man was minding his business. He's not out there part of the protest. He was out there just celebrating New Year's. And this emboldened ICE agent, right, took it upon himself to go out there and confront this man while he was celebrating New Year's in the way that America celebrates it a lot, right? Whether you agree or disagree. And in that celebration and in that confrontation, a foundational Black American man ended up losing his life. right? While at the same time we're minding our business. A black man ended up being pow pow. So we got to understand, man, be careful what you're in support of. Pay attention. I'm not in support of these immigrants here. I'm not in support of ICE. I'm not in support of the radical right. I'm not in support of the radical left. I'm in support of us paying attention and knowing how we should move and paying attention to see how this country is starting to move based off the actions that they're getting you to, based off of uh, uh, the events that they're creating, right? Getting you to move a certain way that's allowing them to move a certain way. So we have to really pay attention because they're creating this atmosphere, right? To get a response out of you. And in that response, they're responding back and they're justifying it by saying that these actions were justifiable. But they're creating the situations, man. So as foundational black Americans, we got to step aside, get out, not just get out of the way. We got to pay attention to what they're doing. Because whatever they do to other groups, it hurts us times 10. But I'm going to cut this video short here because I'm going to have people, y'all so socially engineered and wrapped up, you don't see it. I seen videos where people say, we support ICE. I don't support no damn ICE. I don't support the immigrants. I don't support the radical right. I don't support the radical left. I support FBA. I'm on FBA business. The ICE ain't my allies. Why would the ICE be my allies? So we gotta really pay attention. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.